Welcome to chemistry class once again. In my previous class, I have started a new chapter, chapter number 2, and the name is Physical and Chemical Changes. In my previous class, I have said you about the changes, types of changes. What were the types of changes? Natural, man-made, slow, fast, periodic, non-periodic, physical, chemical, desirable, undesirable, reversible, irreversible, exothermic and endothermic changes. I have explained you all this. They were differentiate between the changes. Okay, and I have even taught you the activity which was to show the physical and chemical change. Okay, we have seen their physical and chemical change in the activity. Today I am going to start the class with the activity only. Okay, this activity will show us the exothermic and endothermic change. Okay, now let us see what is the aim of this activity. The aim of activity is to observe the changes involved when there is a change of energy. And what are the materials required? Two test tube, a test tube stand, a spatula, a test tube holder, a thermometer, a glass rod, water, powdered sugar, quicklime, and a Bunsen burner. Okay. Now what do you have to do? You have to take two test tubes, okay, and it should be filled with 1/4 of water. Both the test tubes should be filled with 1/4 of the water. And what you will do? You will put this test tube, these two test tubes in a test tube holder, and you will take a thermometer and you will note down the temperature of this two test tube containing water. Okay. Now what you will do? You will add a pinch of sugar in one test tube and a pinch of quicklime in the other test tube. Okay, and again you will note down the temperature with the help of thermometer. And what you will do? You will touch both the test tube, okay, to feel the hotness and coldness. Okay, to feel the hotness or coldness. Now what observation is there in this activity is that the test tube containing sugar and water, when you will touch the test tube containing sugar and water, you will feel cold. Okay, and the test tube containing quicklime and water, their vigorous reaction has taken place and you will feel hot. Okay, you will feel hot. Why? Because heat is released. Now the thermometer will confirm us the absorption and evolution of heat energy by showing the increase and decrease in temperature while we have noted down the reading. Okay, now what is the conclusion is that when we have touched the test tube containing sugar and water, we felt cold. Okay, why? The dissolution of sugar in water is a absorbing change, that is endothermic change. I have already said you endothermic change is a change in which energy is absorbed. So the dissolution of sugar in water is a absorbing change. Okay, here the energy is absorbed. That is why we feel cold, and the thermometer will show us decrease in temperature. We have used the thermometer to record the temperature before adding the sugar. Okay, then again we have used the thermometer to record the temperature when we have added the sugar, so it will show the decrease in temperature. It will show the decrease in temperature. Okay, it is endothermic change and physical change. Now, the dissolution of quicklime in the water is exothermic change. And I have already said you what is exothermic change? A change in which energy is released. A change in which energy is released is called the exothermic change. And because of this, okay, so heat is released. That is why you will feel hot when you will touch the test tube containing quicklime. Okay, and the thermometer will show you increase in temperature. So this was the experiment, this was the activity to show you exothermic and endothermic change. Now let's move to the next topic, that is physical changes. Here we are going to see one by one all the physical changes, okay, in detail. Now let us learn about the physical changes, okay, and how they occurs. Number one is evaporation. Now what is this evaporation? The process by which any substance changes its liquid state to gaseous state at any temperature. Okay, it does not require a fixed temperature. At any temperature below boiling point, okay, it's called evaporation. It is not necessary that it should reach the boiling point. It will occur below the boiling point and at any temperature. The substance will change from liquid state to gaseous state. The process by which the substance will change from its liquid state to gaseous state at any temperature below its boiling point is called evaporation. For example, the evaporation of river water. Okay, what I said, the evaporation of river water is an example of evaporation. Okay, and it is reversible change. It can be reversed back. The gaseous state can be changed back to the liquid state. Okay, that is why it is reversible. It is desirable change because it is useful. Understood? And it is also endothermic change. And why it is endothermic change? Because the heat is absorbed. The heat is absorbed. In evaporation, heat is absorbed. Now let us see the factors which are affecting the rate of evaporation. Okay, we will see here one by one the factors which are affecting the rate of evaporation. Number one is the temperature. The rate of evaporation will increase when the temperature will increase. Okay, temperature will increase, the rate of evaporation will also increase. This is the reason why our clothes dry faster in summer than in winter. Our clothes get dry faster in summer than in winter because in summer the temperature is more than winter. In summer the temperature is more, that is why our clothes get dry faster in summer than in winter. Now the next factor is moisture or humidity. The rate of evaporation will decrease when there will be increase in the moisture or humidity. Now what is this moisture and humidity? The amount of water vapor present in the atmosphere at particular place. Amount of water vapor present in the air, present in the atmosphere is the humidity. You have observed that our clothes take time. It takes longer time to dry in the humid weather than in the dry weather. Okay, our clothes get dry faster when it is bright sunny day than in the humid weather. Okay, so now let us see the third factor affecting the rate of evaporation. It is surface area. Larger the surface area, higher will be the rate of evaporation. Okay, if the surface area is larger, the evaporation will be faster. It will be higher. Okay, when you wash the clothes, when your mother washed the clothes and she put to dry it, how she put? She spread it out and then she put. Or she directly put, she takes the cloth out of the bucket and she puts directly without spreading. No, she spreads out and then she puts the clothes. Okay, this means that there is an increase in the surface area then there will be higher rate of evaporation and the clothes will dry faster. If she puts the clothes directly in the squeezed way only, will it dry fast? No, it will not dry fast. Okay, because the surface area is less. Okay, and when she spreads out and she puts, the clothes get dry faster. Okay, now let us see the last factor affecting is the movement of air. The faster the air blows over the liquid, okay, so what will be there? The higher will be the rate of evaporation. Higher will be the rate of evaporation. Okay, and you have observed that people drying their clothes near the river side. How they drying their clothes near the river side? So how it get dry? When the air blows, the clothes goes in and out. In this way, their clothes get dried fast. Okay, so if the air will blow faster, the clothes will get dried faster. Okay, so these were the factors affecting the rate of evaporation. And what were they? Temperature, surface area, okay, then moisture or humidity. Last one was the movement of air. Now let us see the next physical change. First we have seen the evaporation. Now the next physical change is the boiling. Okay. Now let us see the next physical change, that is boiling. Now what is this boiling? Okay. When you will heat any substance, okay, at its boiling point, it will change from its liquid state to gaseous state. It will change from its liquid state to gaseous state. Okay, now what is this boiling? Boiling of water is a physical change because no new substance is formed. Okay, it is reversible. It is reversible because we can change back to its liquid state. Liquid state to gaseous state. Again gaseous state to liquid state. It is desirable change. It is also undesirable change, and it is also endothermic change. Okay, so what is this endothermic change? I have already said to you, in endothermic change, energy is absorbed. So, in boiling also, the substance will change from its liquid state to gaseous state when heat is given to that substance. It will absorb the heat. Okay, it will absorb the heat. The boiling of water, why it's boiled? Because the water absorbs the heat and then it boils. Okay, so this was about the boiling. Now let us see the next physical change. That is condensation. Now what is this condensation? The process by which the substance, okay, changes from its gaseous state to its liquid state on cooling is called condensation. What is condensation? The process by which the substance changes from its gaseous state to its liquid state on cooling is called condensation. Okay, the condensation of water vapor to form cloud is a physical change. The water vapor, when it gets condensed, it forms a cloud. Okay, what it forms? It forms cloud. And it is a physical change. It is desirable, it is reversible, and it is exothermic change. Now let us see the next one. Is freezing. I have already said you about this freezing, evaporation, condensation, boiling and all in the first chapter in the interconversion of matter. So now we are doing this again. What is freezing? The process in which the substance changes from its liquid state to its solid state on cooling is called freezing. When you will keep the water, okay, in the fridge, it will again change its state. Water was in liquid state, the ice will be in solid state. Okay, the freezing of water into ice is a physical change. It is desirable, it is useful, okay, and it is reversible. Again we can reverse it back. from solid to liquid. When we will take the ice out of the fridge, again it will melt and get converted into liquid state. Okay, so the freezing of water into ice is a physical change. It is reversible. Okay, it is desirable, and it is exothermic because heat is absorbed. Okay, and it is reversible because if you will take ice out of the fridge, again it will melt and get converted into liquid state. Now let us see the next one. Next one, melting. Now what is this melting? The process by which the substance changes from its solid state to its liquid state on heating is called melting. When you will take ice out of the fridge, ice was in solid state. As soon as you take it out of the fridge, the ice will absorb the heat. Okay, the ice will absorb the heat and the ice will start melting. So it has changed the state from solid to liquid. From solid to liquid. This is called the melting. The process in which the substance will change from solid state to liquid state on heating is called melting. Now what is the example of melting? Melting of ice is an example. Okay, the melting of ice cream is a physical change. Okay, it is a physical change because no new substance is formed. It is undesirable because we don't want ice cream to melt. Okay, and it is also reversible because we can again reverse back to ice cream, and it is endothermic. Okay, it is endothermic. Why? Because heat is absorbed. Okay, now let us see the next one, that is sublimation. What is this sublimation? The process in which the substance will directly change from its solid state to its gaseous state without forming any liquid state is called sublimation. In sublimation, the solid will directly change into gaseous state. The solid state will directly change into gaseous state. It will not undergo any liquid state. Okay, it will change that. It will directly change from solid state to gaseous state. Okay, the sublimation of naphthalene ball. You have seen naphthalene ball. Okay, it is a physical change. It is desirable change. It is reversible change. Okay, and it is also endothermic. It is also endothermic. The reverse of sublimation is called deposition or desublimation, and it takes place on cooling. Deposition takes place on cooling. Okay, so now we are going to see one experiment based on this sublimation. Okay, sublimation of ammonium chloride. Okay, let's see this small experiment of sublimation of ammonium chloride. Here we will observe the sublimation of ammonium chloride. Now what you have to do, you have to take a china dish. In this china dish we have to take ammonium chloride. Now what you will do, you will cover this china dish with funnel, and in funnel at top opening is there, so we have to close this opening. So to close this opening we will use cotton. We will put the cotton in the opening of the funnel so that any gas will not get escaped out. Okay, so we will put the cotton in the opening of the funnel. Now what we will do, with the help of Bunsen burner, okay, we will heat this china dish containing ammonium chloride, and we have covered it with the funnel, and the funnel opening is, what we have done, we have closed it opening with the cotton. Now when you will heat it gently, ammonium chloride is a sublime solid. Okay, sublime solid means it will get change directly from its solid state to gaseous state. So on heating, this sublime solid, that is ammonium chloride, get converted into white fume of ammonium chloride, and it get deposited on the upper part of the funnel. It get deposited on the upper part of the funnel in the form of solid crystal. You will see the small crystal. When this white fume get cooled. This is called deposition or desublimation. Here we have seen both sublimation and desublimation or deposition. This sublime solid on heating got converted into white fume of ammonium chloride from solid to gaseous state, and on cooling it got deposited on the upper part of the funnel in the form of solid crystal. So that white fume has got deposited, again that gaseous state has got converted into solid state, that is solid crystal on cooling. So that is called deposition. Okay, so this was the small experiment to show the sublimation of ammonium chloride. Now let us see the last physical change, that is dissolving. Now what is this dissolving? The process of mixing solid, liquid, gas uniformly with the other substance to form the solution is called dissolving. Is called dissolving. Okay, dissolving of sugar is a physical change because no new substance is formed. It is reversible. Okay, it is reversible and it is also desirable and endothermic. Dissolving of sugar in water is a physical change. It is reversible, it is desirable and endothermic also. Now, how to separate this solute and solvent? Now, what you have to do, when the solution of solid in a liquid is subjected to heat, when you will heat a solution of liquid, okay, of a liquid and solid, evaporation will take place. Due to this evaporation, the solvent, the liquid will escape. And what is left? The solid part, the solute is left. So in this way, the solute and solvent get separated. On heating solid and liquid, the solution of solid and liquid, evaporation will take place, and when the evaporation will take place, so what will happen? This solvent, the liquid will escape, and what is left? The, what is a solid, or you can say the solute is left, and in this way the solute and solvent gets separated. Okay. Now let us see the last topic of today's class, that is activity. Okay, in this activity, what is the aim? Let us see. Aim is to show sublimation. Materials required: test tube stand and holder, cotton, iodine, crystals, Bunsen burner or sprit lamp. Now what you have to do, you have to take two test tubes. In both the test tube, you have to take few iodine crystal. Okay, it is in solid state. Iodine crystal is in solid state. In both the test tube, you will take few iodine crystals. And then what you will do? In one test tube, you will plug the cotton. You will close the mouth of one test tube containing iodine crystal, and one you will let it be open. Okay. Now what you will do? You will heat it with the help of Bunsen burner. On heating, when you will observe, when you will see the violet vapor, violet fume coming out of it, you will remove the burner and you will put both the test tube. You have heated both the test tube. One mouth was plugged with the cotton. We have blocked and no fume can come out, no violet fume can come out, and one test tube mouth is open. So when you will see the violet fume coming out, the violet vapor coming out, you will stop heating. You will remove the burner and you will keep both the test tube on the test tube holder. You will keep both the test tube in the test tube holder and you will let it cool. Now what you will observe? Number one, the test tube whose mouth was not closed with the cotton, you will see the dense violet fume. Okay, you will see the dense violet fume. And the test tube whose mouth has been closed by plugging the cotton, we cannot see the violet fume. Why? Because its mouth has been closed. Because its mouth has been closed, so no fume, no violet fume can come out of it. That is why what you will see, the test tube whose mouth has been closed, whose mouth has been blocked, the fume cannot come out. So the fume on cooling, so that violet fume on cooling will get deposited on the inner wall of the test tube. Again it will get converted into solid crystals. As the violet fume cannot get escape out of the test tube, its mouth has been blocked. That is why that violet fume will deposit, this violet fume on cooling will get deposited on the inner wall of the test tube. Again it will form the solid crystal. Okay, so what is the conclusion? On heating, this iodine crystal was in solid state, it got converted into gaseous state directly, and again on cooling, this gaseous state got converted back into solid state. Same activity can be even performed with the use of naphthalene, with the use of camphor. Okay, so this was the last topic for the today's class. In the next class, I will teach you about the chemical changes and I will complete the chapter. Okay, so whatever I am teaching you, study at home. Okay, thank you.